All right, let's bring in human resources consultant Abdelrahman Rizk. He joins us now from London. Abdelrahman, as grim as the situation is in countries, developing countries in Africa, there's a similar situation across Europe. I mean, we saw some of the numbers in Sarah Morris's news piece just a while ago. The UK has cut entry-level jobs by a quarter. This number in the United States is even worse. I mean, with some reports putting that decline at 73% just over the past few months. I mean, don't these numbers speak to sort of a larger trend that could end up having some very damaging long-term effects on earnings potential?
Yeah, definitely. We've seen the numbers. Numbers are crazy at the moment. Right at the moment, for example, in the UK, there's 1 in 3 adults that are either have lost their jobs or furloughed. And we've only been a few months in this pandemic. And there are some reports, especially there's a report recently by the Trade Union Congress in the UK, which has shown that the people that are facing the highest risk are going to be people, young people under 25, which most of them are going to be or are recent graduates. And this is having a huge effect on young people at the moment. They call it the pandemic generation. They're saying what's going to happen to this pandemic generation, and it's definitely going to have a long-term effect on their earnings, both in the short term, but also on the long term as well.
I mean, what's worse here is the sudden turnaround. It's not like we're going through this prolonged recession. I mean, there was a somewhat thriving economy just a few months ago, and this has been completely turned upside down due to COVID-19. I mean, that's something that countless recent college graduates are feeling as they sort of try to find job opportunities in this pandemic. I mean, what does Generation Pandemic do right now?
It's a tough situation. I know a lot of friends and family and so on. They had already lined up graduate jobs and internships and so on, which got cancelled. So it's very scary for them. They're all worried. They don't know what to do. But my advice to them is to start thinking potentially of doing further education, to start thinking about postgraduate studies. That way they can try and enhance their skills. They can try and maybe get ahead of the market. That's one thing they can do. They can also look at they can look actually at sectors that have more jobs. So for example, we've seen that the construction, for example, sector, it came back and is thriving back again. A lot of the people, I think now 30-40% people that were in furlough are back into the market again, into the jobs. So it's not an easy situation, indeed.
You say that one of the options is they can invest in their future, but getting ahead per se. But there needs to be light at the end of the tunnel. There is no light at the end of the tunnel here. Plus, furthering one's education costs money. When 40% of the workforce in the United States has lost their jobs, how do people pay for continuing education?
I mean, the USA it's one of the toughest places to invest in education because of the payment system and how you pay for it and how you have more debt and so on. I mean, that's one way. That's one way of doing it. I'm thinking as well of, for example, the recession in the early 2000s, and I went through it personally. One thing that also you can do is maybe start doing investing into your soft skills or identifying your soft skills. So that way you make yourself more employable in maybe sectors that maybe you're not studying into and so on. Another thing that you can do potentially, there are now many opportunities that you can do kind of like community work or voluntary work. And that way you can, again, enhance your employability, you can enhance your CV a little bit, because what's going to happen is hopefully sooner or later. Yeah. So sooner or later.
All right, Abdelrahman Rizk, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much. But also, if you're going to volunteer, but also you have to keep in mind social distancing and volunteering don't go hand in hand all that well. All right, that's a wrap here on